So we are gonna open the public meeting at 5:33 PM. This is the public meeting on the warrant for the town meeting in March. The warrant is up on the website if anybody hasn't had a chance to pull it up. It's at woodstocknh.org under the selectmen's tab, or the select boards tab. And then anybody that's here that wants copies, we have hard copies right there. So at this time, we're not gonna go down through it since it's been available and you folks have it. We would entertain any questions on any of the articles.
Does this have something to do with a?
Yep, if you have a question on, yep,
Yeah.
that would have something to do with the noise ordinance,
Okay.
Article 19, correct?
I'm a little hard of hearing, so.
That's okay.
Well, I noticed that you took off one whole section of the noise ordinance.
Section 4.
Section 4, and there's a lot of information in that that's just wiped out, as far as decibel levels, and there's nothing put back in for decibel levels or anything, and it seems like you can't really have a sound ordinance without some kind of decibel level being read or understood.
It
And,
was bet the recommendation of the town's attorney to pull that section with the decibels out, cause as it was written right now, the decibel levels, it's a simple motorcycle driving down the road, and that would, exceed the decibels.
So you're saying the town lawyer suggested this?
Yes,
She came out of the blue and said,
the
take this
attorney.
out? Or did somebody, the
No,
town?
we asked,
We
somebody-
talked to her and
some-
asked her to take a look at this
Some
because
people
of
were complaining
comments.
about,
Yes,
you know,
Concerns.
having low
Yep.
noise levels and getting complaints.
yes, we did
Does-
receive complaints.
Does do the police have a decibel meter?
They do not,
No?
no,
Do they need to get a decibel meter, or?
we've been looking into them.
I mean, it's a year ago since we passed this. And, but it seems to me like just eliminating all this information is a little much.
Well, we can take it back to her and ask real quick, but the only issue that we have with that is that, there's really no time to redraft it, so it would be one of those that it could be amended on the floor the night of town meeting. And the amendment could be the request to put that section 4 back in.
Alright, so I guess I don't know, you don't need the town, on her suggestion, the town can just wipe this right out.
town can do anything they want
Yeah.
in the town
Yep.
body, at the
So-
town meeting, sure.
Okay, so and then it will be back to a vote in March, whether to take this out or not?
It'll
But
go up
Be done all at once.
at at the March
At
meeting,
the
yeah,
March
next
vote.
month.
Right. And, is this mostly because of, taken out because of the town, the center of town, the noise in the center of town? And people are complaining?
We've had complaints from folks outside of the center of town who are concerned about the decibel levels.
Yeah. And, is it after 10 o'clock at night that the people are complaining? Is that,
It's just the decibel levels in general, yeah, from 7 AM to 10 PM.
so, I guess why would you take the decibel level out where, you know, the demolition or construction noise, you know, all that stuff, it has a timeline between 10:30 and 6. Why would you take that one out? Or idling the commercial vehicles and take that one out? Why would you take why are you taking the whole section out? That's what I don't get.
Okay. As I said, that was, it was the advice of the town attorney as to what made the most sense and what was not necessarily needed to enforce a noise ordinance. And she said that section 4 with the examples of prohibited noise with the decibels and whatnot is what the town should consider removing.
So, I guess, so the process is, somebody complains, and then to the selectmen go to the town lawyer and ask her what
What
to
the
do
level
about it.
of reasonable and unreasonable is, yep,
And then she just suggests to wipe out that whole section.
correct.
No. I mean, there should be a little bit of, I guess, you know, conversation on why this all kind of went through so the way it did on just being wiped out. And I don't know, this has been, maybe you can ask the lawyer, but this is really copied, this ordinance is copied from many towns across the state. And I don't know why that one section would be taken out. If a lot of the towns in the state carry this.
Well, every town has its own wants and needs.
Yeah,
So to say that just because this town did it, we should do it, isn't necessarily
right. So I guess how do you regulate, how do you help the police along? Say there you have a call with a boom box going off on the river. That was, you know, a lot of that was, not last year, not bad, the year before, you know, boom box and the kids partying on the river and everything else. How do you regulate, if you don't have a sound decibel level, how do you regulate what is fair to tell the kids to leave or be quiet or not? I just don't understand that.
I think, you know, in section 2, that outlines that fairly well, that it, you know, simulate any excessive, unnecessary, or unusual loud noises, including without limitation those which are prolonged, unusual, and unnatural in their time, place, use, and effect,
Right.
or are determined to be detriment to the public health, comfort, convenience, safety, welfare, quiet enjoyment, or prosperity of residents and visitors.
So I guess the people that complained, what were they complaining about? Just, was it after 10 o'clock that they were complaining that they were getting?
The set of the decibel levels was set too low. It's
just
unreasonable.
Just unreasonable?
Yep.
Okay. Curious. All right.
We also have the disorderly conduct ordinance that the police department can follow
Right.
as well.
All right.
But, as I said, you're welcome to, you know, you can bring this discussion up on the floor on the night of town meeting as well.
Yeah, okay, all right, I'm just kinda curious how it all just popped up,
Yep.
all right?
Well, it's been over time, you
Yeah.
know, since it was enacted, and they started working with it, the
Yeah.
police and so forth, you know. So it's been a work in progress, and it probably will be going forward, just tweak it here and there and
Yeah,
get what's right and what fits our needs.
Yeah, and nothing says we can't revisit it again next year if we needed to readdress it too.
yeah,
So,
I gotcha. All right, well, thank you very much.
thank you for your, any other questions? Am I missing anybody? Yes, Mr.
On the
Williams.
noise or
Yeah,
Anything.
on the ordinance,
On the warrant article, anything.
on the proposed amendment to the building height ordinance?
Yes.
Does that, initially the application goes to the planning board? Is that right?
For building, no, selectmen. The building permit,
Determination of the height. Or is that just a random if somebody feels that it's above the height, do they?
This is for new construction, correct?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, well, everything else has already met the old.
Met the old
The
requirements, right?
original one. The original one at 26 feet seemed a bit restrictive, and where space is becoming a real issue as far as living spaces and being able to put something, or at least get 3 stories involved into something instead of just 2, to help improve that. And this is just the beginning. We've got a lot of work to do on this building permit. But as far as the height goes, overall height and so forth, and it also has a lot to do with fire safety and so forth, so, what we can deal with, in safety codes. So, it was originally put to us that moving it up to 32 feet and then, adding 4 floors. I personally didn't think that was really applicable. It makes for very uncomfortable ceiling heights as far as I'm concerned, plus, I think we'd be dealing with, people wanting waivers and all kinds of things right off the bat. And after going through, looking at things, the average floor height from structurally, from floor to floor, in the country is 10 feet. Then you can go to places like Chicago where it's 14 feet, where people have made adjustments there for that there. So we asked them to pare it back down to 3 stories, and I think that gives everybody room for what we can handle and what's reasonably comfortable.
We did speak with the fire chief as well, the fire chief and Stuart from Alba, as to what would be a reasonable ordinance.
I'm trying to recall that initially a person was denied a building because of the height, and then they came to the select board?
For variance, yes.
Yes, so was that
It's part of
another
the building
committee?
permit process. It's part of the building permit process, correct? Not the planning board.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I think you're referring to spray foam?
I
When we
believe
had
that's
that
who it was.
Yeah.
down there.
And then he came to you? Okay.
He came to the select board for a variance because he was denied on his
Right.
building permit.
On the building permit.
Right.
Yeah, now,
Because he was adding.
he had an
Piece I
option,
was missing.
he had an option, it was a 2-foot variance was what he was asking for. And he did have an option where he could have gone behind the building and raised the grade 2 feet. And would have come to, what the 26-foot limit was. But that really seemed like it was splitting hairs. So, we ended up trying to give him that, and that became an issue because we didn't really have the, process in place to do that. We ended up doing it, this was in reference or in answer to that. But in order to get 3 floors in comfortably, 32-foot height for the primary, we figured was reasonable.
Thank you.
Thank you. I believe we have a question online. Mr. Foley,
Yes, I was
thank
seeing
you.
if you heard.
Yep.
Him trying to get through, yep.
Go ahead. Can we not hear you? Are you speak?
Looks like he's talking. Looks like he's
As you,
talking.
hold on here, we're having a malfunction.
Did he unmute himself?
Well, I don't know. How's that? Can you hear me? Yeah, we still can't hear you though. Sorry. You got my mug in your face here.
Melissa says she can hear him.
She can hear him, why can't we hear him? Oh no. Figures, technology here. Alright, give it a whirl, Kevin.
Nope.
No, hold on. Sorry. How about now? No, we can't hear you. You know what, I'm gonna disconnect the TV and see if that helps.
Did he unmute himself?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did.
he's
He
unmuted.
did, okay.
Yeah,
Now tell
what if
him.
you talk to us now? No?
What if I call him and you can, I'll put
That's
him on
what I
my
was
speaker.
I was
Say,
gonna say,
just
if you,
put him on
if you,
speaker,
yeah,
that's
if
what
you
I
wanna
was
put him
gonna
on
do.
speaker. I apologize for the technical issues we're having here.
Let's just put it on Netflix.
Oh, there you go, we can hear you now.
Oh, you can? Okay.
Yep.
Very
Yay!
good.
Show.
Excellent.
Yeah. Alright. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay, so on the noise ordinance, that was written by an attorney that researched the state to make sure that it had a chance of passing in court. So I'm very surprised to hear that our town attorney said that isn't the case. And I was wondering, does she have a written opinion that she gave you folks that you can share with us?
I believe we do have something. I do not have it with me this evening.
She will
Okay, can that
be,
be posted?
Kevin, she will be at the meeting,
Yes.
town meeting.
Which meeting? But isn't that kinda late?
No, that gets voted on at town meeting.
Right.
So you can all, have all the discussion you want before the actual vote on the article.
Correct.
Okay. All right, and then I was wondering, how many actual complaints came through the police department? Can we get copies of those?
I think if you were to get copies, wouldn't it have to be an RSA 91A?
Yeah, you'd have to get freedom of information, process there, and I'm not sure if they're in writing or just the police fielding, complaints and visiting them and passing that on to us. As far as written complaints, I'm not sure.
Yep.
Okay. And if we wanted to change the article tonight, could we do that? Could we suggest new decibel levels now? And,
I don't believe we can modify the warrant now, but it can be amended on the floor. So we can make you can make recommendations on the floor that night with decibel levels.
okay, but won't this get voted on first during the day?
No,
Article 19,
This will be in a live meeting like it's been in years past, not like COVID last year. So this will
Okay.
not be a paper vote.
Okay, so, last year, there were 350 people or so that voted. So what, venue do you have that will hold 350 people?
Yeah, but
We do
They
not
don't all
have,
come to the town meeting.
most people do not come out to the town meeting, but,
Well, but they may for this, so how would you handle that?
we will have to look into that.
It
before-
sounds like this should really be a vote, not a town meeting issue, but,
This is a, this is
uh,
a town meeting.
wanna know how you're gonna do that. I'm sure our attorney will wanna know how you will be able to do that as well fairly to all the residents.
Okay. We will talk with the attorney and we'll circle back to this. We have a selectmen's, or we could call another meeting later this week. Or next
Okay,
week,
good,
whenever.
alright, and then how can we get a copy of that attorney opinion? Will it be at the town hall, or can you post it?
I don't believe it
We
is.
won't post it, it's conversation between the town and the attorney. I'll check with our administrator and the attorney if it can be released via 91A request.
Okay. Alright, thank you.
Yep,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Kimball?
Yes, I got a couple of comments for you. One, when I was looking for the noise ordinance on the town website, it's not listed with all the other ordinances that are there, like the setback requirements, the parking and all that kind of stuff. So you may want to take and add that in at some point here.
Okay, thank you for that.
The second comment is, I understand that you want to take and remove section 4 that gives you some decibel level and rely on section 2, which is unnecessary or unreasonable. Who and how is the determination of what's unnecessary or unreasonable going to be made if in fact you don't have some criteria that can be enforced?
In the past, as far as disorderly conduct and so forth, it was usually up to the discretion of the police officer, that was involved in the incident.
Okay, now how does that factor in as far as going back to the complaining or whatever to make sure that they're satisfied with what happened.
It's generally just a verbal thing. We're still on the small town side of that, with the public and doing direct conversations and so forth. It's not like there's a paperwork involved.
I understand, but right now you have criteria to measure by. Now, maybe you want to take and change that criteria, but to not have some decibel level or some standard that can be evaluated on a consistent basis, I really believe that the town's attorney's opinion may be putting the town at risk. It's just my opinion.
At risk to what, John?
You get into a conflict between people, in one case, it's not an issue, and then maybe a week later, the same noise coming from a different place, all of a sudden it is an issue. Where you have consistency in enforcement is when you have some number value or some standard that can always draw the line and say, if we cross this, there's no more discussion, there's no discretion, it's a violation.
Well, at some point citations start, and you usually it's usually a one-strike deal. If you gotta come back and do
Right,
the
but-
whole thing the next week, then people are gonna be citations issued.
Right, but if a citation escalates into now legal action, it comes back down to what was discretionary. It doesn't come back to a standard of X number decibels or whatever.
Yeah, I understand completely.
Okay, that's all, that's the end of my comment on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Say hi to Anne Marie for me.
I will.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other comments regarding the warrant? Barbara? I'm not seeing anybody unmuting themselves on the thing, so.
I got no more text messages.
Okay, so at this time, we need to make a motion to accept the warrant article to put forth, to the residents, on the second Tuesday of March.
I'll make a motion to do that as they're written.
Okay, I will second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, very good. So, at this time, I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing for the warrant article at 5:56 PM.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And now we will turn it over to the chair of the budget committee, and she will open up the budget meeting. Sorry. These are the copies we need to sign. Alright. Opening up my mess contains myself here.
You all set?
I'm all set.
I open the public budget meeting at 5:57. First up, we need to approve our minutes from last week. Is there any discussion? Do I have a motion to accept?
No motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next up is the budget. We're going to just go over the summary, we voted on it last week. So the operating budget appropriations for 2022 is $4,134,219. The special warrant articles is $485,167, bringing the total appropriation to $4,619,386. Estimated revenues and credits will be $2,005,135, so the Estimated amount of taxes to be raised is $2,614,251. Do I have any questions? Do I have a motion to accept the MS 737?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there any other discussion to come before the budget committee?
Could I just, for our purposes next year, get some kind of, I don't know, where we're at with the water and sewer? You know, how are the expenses going, how far in debt is the water department, how far in debt is the sewer department?
Oh, it's
You know
separate.
what- Yeah, I think it would be good for
Separate
any of
fund.
us who are on the water or on the sewer, both, to know how far in debt is that? And how does it work
Yeah.
its way out and stuff?
Yeah, water has not been in debt.
But what is that, what's coming up? I guess we just,
Yeah,
I'd like to see where it's at.
yeah, and we're,
What are the different places that, what's gonna have to be replaced for sewer lines, water lines?
We're
How
starting
are
to
we
work
gonna
on a
fund
plan
this
for that,
down the road?
yeah.
So, you know, is my water bill, which I know is gonna go up, it's gonna go up, cause costs are gonna go up. But I think I would really, really like to see.
Yep.
So we can see where that is at in the budget.
of
and-
course,
And how it works.
I think that's a reasonable request.
And I think, I'm not looking for it right now,
Yeah.
but I'd like it, we'll be a whole year
Yep.
into this new system,
Yeah,
and then we can see where it's at. You know, I
Sounds
know
good.
they're finding the leaks, they've been working on the
Yeah.
leaks and stuff, and,
Yeah. Yep.
you know, I think that's a big thing we gotta find.
Yeah.
On all of those,
It'll help
so,
everything.
but
Yeah.
yeah, so if we can have that next year, I'd love it.
sure.
Any other questions, discussion? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
See you at the town meeting.
Thank you all for your work this past year. Please don't run, I need you to sign the MS 37s, please. I need to go find a black pen though.
When is the town meeting? Is it the,
Well, this one?
Second Tuesday